Hey, Dave, Whitney here. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm going to keep this short and sweet today. I'm going to start you off with a little technique for doing tapping with 3 notes per string, skipping strings to make a cool arpeggio style that you hear from time to time. It's really born of the Van Halen style of playing root 3rd and 5th, you know, that sort of thing. It's born of that, but it goes a lot further, but yet it's still simple, and I like that sort of thing. So I'm going to use the G minor arpeggio. Why? Because I can. And it simply is the notes G, B flat and D. And we're going to repeat that over 3 octaves. Now to do that, we're going to skip strings on the guitar. And we're going to use the low E string, the D string and the B string as our strings of choice today. I'm playing 2 notes, the first 2 notes, the root and 3rd, with my left hand, and I'm tapping the 5th of the arpeggio with my right hand, whichever finger you use to tap. Doesn't affect me in the slightest which one you want to use. As long as it works for you, it works for me. So we use first finger, or I use first finger on the low E string, G, 3rd fret, B flat. I'm hammering these, by the way, in the 6th fret, and 10th fret with the for the D, all on the low E string. So I have, right, and then I'm going to move across, skip the D string, the A string, sorry, and move to the D string and play the same thing. Now start on the 5th fret this time, which is the G. The 8th fret is the B flat. The 12th fret, I'm sorry, is the D. Now I skip over the G string, go to the B string. I play the 8th fret, which is the G. I play the 11th fret, which is the B flat, and the 15th fret, which is the D. So I have this. And then I go back down. Right? So that's what you're going to do. Now, once you've sort of got that up and down thing happening, and you can pick any arpeggios, it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be G minor, it's just that I happen to be using G minor and I quite like the sound of G minor. I want you to keep in mind, by the way, when you're playing that the count is 16th note timing. It's 4 notes per beat, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now, that might be tricky to begin with simply because you're playing 3 notes per string, but you're counting 4 notes in a block. So you just keep that in mind when you're doing it. If you're one of these people who likes to tap your foot, right? Then try to get used to doing it in a 4-note sequence. Now, the second thing we're going to do is we're going to keep the same series of notes, just to keep it very, very simple. And we're going to expand on the center arpeggio, the one that's on the D string. Now, we're not going to play any extra notes, but we are going to repeat some of the notes we already have there. And what we'll be doing is when we get to the D string, we won't just be ascending, but we'll be descending and then ascending again. So we're... Okay, so that's pretty straightforward, right? I would agree. I think you would agree. It's pretty straightforward. And then we'll go up to the B string after that. And we'll do the same thing going down. Now the way to count this is in triplets, 16th note triplets, okay? And that's 3 notes per beat. 1, 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sense? 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... Okay? Now, it's all hammered and tapped. There's no picking in it. One of the hardest things that you may encounter with this is not putting your fingers on the right notes or getting it fast. But one of the hardest things is getting it clean. Because for me, maybe not, maybe if you use your first finger for tapping and you rest your hand on the strings when you tap, you can mute, right? But because of the way I hold my pick and use my root finger for my tapping, I don't have that luxury. I don't have the scrunchy hairband thing around the end of my guitar. I have to live with all the squeaks, pops, bumps and twangs that I accidentally pop out of the guitar. And you know what? It builds character to not worry about the whole idea of having to be perfect all the time. Certainly anyone who's watched my videos knows that I don't worry too much about being perfect all the time, because if I was to worry about that, I would never actually release a movie, a video, a lesson. So that's your thing, right? Now, if you want another step to expand it, then let's start by moving it across to the next pair of strings. Move it across to the A string, the G string, and the E string. Yeah, those three, on the high E string, sorry. So you've got, on the A string you would be playing the same intonation, but it would be now called C minor. Okay, and play with it that way. Of course you have major that you can do, you don't have to do the whole thing doesn't have to be minor all the time, you know. When you do the major, the only difference is that your little finger is going up a semitone. Yeah, so in this case it would be G, B, D, G, B, D, G, B, D. Oh, sorry. You know what I said about perfection? I wasn't kidding. Okay, so you can play with that. You can work on diminished, or in this case what's actually called minor flat 5. Sorry. And all that is minor thirds stacked on top of each other. So here it's G, B flat and D flat. Okay, that sort of thing. You can play with those. Just basic chords from the key of whichever key you're playing in. Okay, so have a play with that. Realize that you have pairs of strings on your guitar, and we're working in pairs of strings. So anything that you play on one string, so we can repeat on the first string of the next pair, or on the So you can play around with it like that. Now, anyone who didn't believe that I haven't played for a while and that my technique is crappy right now is a believer at this point in time. Okay, don't let it worry you. It certainly doesn't worry me. It's the ideas that I'm trying to get across that are really of value. Where you take it and what you do with it is 100% up to you. The choice is yours to make it as you will. And I guess that's just about it for today. Thanks very much for tuning in. Sorry I haven't been around much lately. I have a couple of questions some people wrote in and asked me to help them with, and I will do that shortly. I just need to find some time. Do take care, and I'll see you all soon.